Good morning, everybody. Couldn't be more excited to be here and join everyone in the Hilltop and what is a beautiful day in the capital city of Columbus. Again, thank you all for taking the time to be here. I think you all know why we're here, but it has been a great partnership and kind of what we do best in terms of bringing groups together to look for solutions. But before I begin with my prepared remarks, I do want to extend a special thanks to Age Friendly Columbus, Franklin County of The Ohio State University College of Social Work, the Honorable Fran Ryan, Reverend Meredith McDougall, Executive Director of the Greater Hilltop Shalom Zone, Reverend Nancy Day Oshauer with the United Westside Coalition, Cindy Farson from the Central Ohio Area Agency on Aging, and all their teams for their collaboration. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the work that everyone has done in terms of community engagement, community meetings. Also appreciate my colleagues' support, although they're not here. We will have an item on our agenda at the next council meeting on Monday. Only 4 meetings left this year, so we're very excited. This is one of our priorities. I've been very blessed and fortunate in terms of my time on council the last 2 years, 9 months, 30 days, to be able to be a point of contact and start with the service of the Age Friendly Columbus and really what we've been able to grow that into. I know the College of Social Work and Age Friendly Franklin County have really put in amazing work across the city. And today's kind of the Hilltop's turn, an opportunity to highlight a need that we heard in our age-friendly Columbus discussions. We were touting these great programs that exist in other parts of the city, and a lot of what we heard was, well, why isn't this in the Hilltop? And how can we adapt and make sure we have programs in place? I do want to recognize State Representative Adam Miller, who is on time as always. But what's been great about the Age Friendly and about this announcement was done in collaboration with our seniors and working with neighborhood leaders and listening. Had an opportunity to be at the rec center, and where pizza definitely helped to motivate to get some of the seniors out, it also opened them up of what their needs were, their desire to have access to a grocery store, their desire to be able to live in the best place for them. And for a lot of people, that's the home that they've dedicated and invested in. And so, as mentioned, we've seen a lot of success in other neighborhoods with the village model. Listening to and planning with our elder adults is pivotal to ensuring we empower them to age in the right place, and the village model has proven to do just that. Villages are membership organizations that offer reciprocal, person-centered opportunities for older adults to feel more confident aging in their community. It is a holistic approach that utilizes strong social support networking, and those 8 focus groups that were held, you could really see that desire to have that replicated. What I've seen in the 3 other neighborhoods that have villages has grown that, and it's something that the residents continue to really appreciate and always worried, but for this not being here, how would we be able to get these services and be able to achieve our success and living in place? And so now today's announcements, we're bringing it to the west side. You can clap for that. Yeah. You're going to hear from our great partners, but on the city side, very proud that the city is stepping up and being part of the initial funders. We recognize the village model is truly an opportunity to reflect on community needs based on community assets as well as challenges. And I know it will continue to be a very inclusive, planned, driven by the needs and what we hear from our residents. We have those models that we can look at for best successes, but really adapting this for the Hilltop and our residents. And so I'm going to sit down because you're going to hear from the great partners. I'll be up to close it. But again, thank you all for the opportunity to let us share this wonderful announcement today. And with that, I will introduce Fran Ryan.
Thank you. And I want to thank President Pro Tem Mike Stenziano, for his work with me in the last 2 or 3 years now on Age Friendly.
3 years, 9 months, 30 days.
Oh. Okay. See, now I can't go back that far and find out how many years I've been around. But anyway, thank you, Mike. And it's been a labor of love, and this is the fruition of all our work and all the work that Age Friendly has put into this. I look around, and when I was driving out here and with Katie, and I look around and I see all the families that I really have been acquainted with for years, from my council days in the 70s, and I look around and I think, no, they're all aging with me, but I'm the oldest of the whole group. So, but as a senior, I do respect what we did, and I respect what Age Friendly has done. We have not said to seniors, this is what we want you to do, but we have listened, and we have come up with the fact that they are telling us what they want. And I think that's so important in every community. On behalf of the mayor, who could not be with us today, Mayor Ginther, I certainly congratulate everybody who worked on this project and who has given their support over the years. Being a person who is interested in aging for a long time, it's taken a while to become part of the community and to have the elected officials become a part of this effort. And the last 10 years have been my ambition is to work with the seniors and to make this happen. So I am just really thrilled to death to be here today. It's great, and it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to this community. So when we think about aging in place, which I am doing, we have a lot to consider. We need to consider our homes, and what is a home? Is it an apartment? Is it a place where we are sharing with other seniors? And I found that one of the first village that we started, it was important for us to find out what do people really want? What do seniors want? Do they want to be alone? Do they want some companionship? And this is what the village provides. It provides love, companionship, friendship, and a place to be. And so the village model is still emerging across the country. If you go on your internet, you can see villages, and we are part of that. And I predict, which is my prediction, that we're going to be the leading villages and age in place community in the country. So with that, I'm very excited about. I'm proud to stand today among the people who have helped us. Certainly the Hilltop people and the people in the community who have brought forth their efforts to make this happen. And of course, our great partners, COAAA, Cindy, who has contributed immensely, and our social workers that now and our university has been a part of this major effort. And as I stand here before you now, I think, what are we going to do in the next 10 years? We're here now today, and this is going to be a process. This doesn't happen overnight. It's taken a lot of work. The first one that I was on was the German Village, that area, and that was the first one that was started, and that took a while. It wasn't just overnight. So be patient, because I think that when this happens, you'll be so excited in the next 2 or 3 years, and it's a need for out here. I mean, it's a need, and I know that the people who have worked in the Hilltop certainly deserve this immensely. So with that, I will now introduce Nancy. Where are you, Nancy? Nancy called me one day and she said, "Can we have coffee?" And I said, "Sure." And I don't know whether or not she was sorry for doing that, or whether she really wanted to do this. And I collect cards. I have lots of cards. And I have to mention, though, that we have an organization now, our Senior Roundtable. It started out with 4 people 10 years ago, and we now have 1,000. So we have people like yourselves, all interested once a month, to come together and talk about our issues of seniors. So, but anyway, Nancy says, "Can I come to one of your meetings?" And so here she is now. Thank you, Nancy, for all your help on the Hilltop, and it's wonderful to have you here. Okay.
Thank you, Fran. It has been great working with you this past year. On behalf of the United West Side Coalition, I want to express our gratitude to President Pro Tem Stinziano, Columbus City Council, and Age Friendly Columbus and Franklin County. You've been a great support to this Hilltop Senior Initiative that we started over a year ago. Last year, during the solar eclipse, the UWC gave Michael a driving tour highlighting the challenges seniors face, and we discussed the need for transportation and support services for our older adults, and we are so appreciative that Michael has been an early adopter of our initiative. The reality is it's not easy being an older adult in a struggling community that lacks the services enjoyed by residents in other communities. Hilltop seniors could use some hope for a brighter future, and I believe that the funding ordinance that is going before City Council is a critical first step to providing the help that is needed. I think about a woman I met named Susan, and she could use some help. She's an older adult who grew up on the Hilltop, and she tells stories of when the community was vibrant and thriving. She married a local boy, and they bought a home here and raised a family in a neighborhood of friends. Life was good for the Hilltop people, working class people, living out the American dream. But now Susan is a widow, and she can no longer drive. She feels isolated because she's afraid to leave her house, which is falling into disrepair because she's no longer able to do maintenance. Many homes on her block that once belonged to friends are now vacant and boarded up. Her back alley is strewn with garbage. From her living room window, she can see drug deals going down across the street, and she suspects that prostitutes are working out of an abandoned house near a corner. She regularly hears gunfire. Susan should be enjoying life, but instead she is desperate for hope. Other neighborhoods have great programs for their seniors, enabling them to enjoy their retirement, but in a community with crime, blight, and insufficient transportation, a community that lacks supermarkets, doctors, and amenities, life is hard. And when over 14% of households have an annual income of less than $10,000, and 22% have household incomes between $10,000 and $25,000, resources are scarce here. The Hilltop needs a lot of partners working together to give our older adults the quality of life they deserve. And the West Side Coalition is excited to have a great group of partners coming together to make this happen for our community. The funding ordinance will not only give us the seed money needed to begin, it will encourage others to invest in making a difference on the Hilltop. We appreciate the Greater Hilltop Area Shalom Zone's willingness to provide a home for this new program. And we gladly pass this initiative on to them in full confidence that they will work hard to actualize the preferred future expressed by our older adults. So thank you, President Pro Tem Stinziano and Columbus City Council, and all of our partners for the willingness to invest in our community. The United West Side Coalition is grateful for your commitment. We are looking forward to a brighter day for older adults in our community. And I am now happy to introduce Reverend Meredith McDougall of the Greater Area Hilltop Shalom Zone.
Thank you, Nancy, and thank you to City Council President Pro Tem Michael Cinziano and to Fran Ryan as well. I want to thank all of our partners from across the Hilltop, Katie White and our friends from Age Friendly Columbus, and all of our colleagues who have been doing some extensive work that has already been done to this point. So today we are announcing the formation of this senior village for the Hilltop, and I'd like to briefly outline what some of the next steps are in this work. These include holding focus groups with older adults to formulate what a Hilltop-specific village should offer. We'll be creating an elder council to advise the work as it begins and provide ongoing feedback, as well as we'll be continuing to seek community input to select pilot circulator stops, just to name a few. The next several months are going to require robust public input, collaboration between many organizations, and a dedication to serving and empowering older adults on the Hilltop. This work is not easy, but it is important. When I talk to neighborhood residents, they tell me about the long decline that has been witnessed here in the Hilltop over the last several decades. which Nancy alluded to beautifully. And while it's true that the Hilltop is a challenging place to be here right now, I see the strong possibility of a brighter future for this region of Columbus. The work on the senior village is happening at the same time as many other efforts to improve life for residents right here. The work on the Hilltop Community Plan is currently being done through the Department of Neighborhoods and the Neighborhood Design Center to focus on the areas of people, place, and home. The Hilltop Land Use Plan is being spearheaded by the Department of Development, the Greater Hilltop Area Commission, to update land use policies and design guidelines. And last year, some of us participated in the Hilltop Early Childhood Partnership, which recommended the increased availability of quality early childhood education. There are other ongoing efforts to revitalize the West Side related to infant mortality, opiate abuse, human trafficking, and many more. So what I mean to say here is that there is a significant movement going on right now to lift up the West Side. So the announcement that we are making today is a small piece of that larger movement to improve the Hilltop. And I want to encourage all interested organizations, churches, and residents to come join us as we seek to assist and enable seniors to live their life to the fullest. I want to close again by expressing my appreciations to my colleagues here for their continued leadership and support in our efforts to improve life for senior citizens on the Hilltop. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Director Cindy Farson with the Central Ohio Agency on Aging.
Thank you, and good morning. The Central Ohio Area Agency on Aging serves 8 counties in Central Ohio. We're one of 12 area agencies on aging in Ohio that look at future needs while funding local aging services. And we case manage services for about 10,000 older adults and people with disabilities in the region. One thing we see as a future need is the development of the village model that we've been talking about today. We hear a lot about person-centered care in healthcare and social services, and that simply means that people are treated as unique and involved in planning for their care. Well, the village movement is the ultimate in person-centered care because the members themselves are determining what services they want, how they get them, and from who. Focus groups are the most direct way of hearing what people want, and they've been used here and in other neighborhoods in Columbus. To date, Franklin County has taken a lead in the state in developing multiple villages and planning for more. To see neighborhoods get together and decide we are going to take care of each other is a wonderful thing. It's an old concept that needs to come back. And with the tremendous growth of people over the age of 60, formal public services will never be able to take care of the everyday needs that keep people living in the houses and the neighborhoods that they love. So we think organizing to involve neighborhood volunteers and organizations in transportation, raking leaves, shopping, visiting, and even things like flipping a heavy mattress gives people the confidence to know that they aren't alone and they don't have to be inhibited about asking for assistance. We often are. We don't want to ask our neighbors for things. One problem for those that need formal services, they often don't know what's out there or when they're eligible. The villages help connect them when more help's needed. If a village member needs the full range of home care services that they might get from our Passport Home Care Services or from our Senior Options County Levy, they can be quickly referred to the right place by a trusted person. And for all of these reasons, COAAA has been proud to provide $30,000 in seed funding to the 3 existing villages in Franklin County and 1 in Union County, which is a unique rural model. We look forward to the development of the village that the Hilltop community designs for themselves and hope it can be added to the network of villages in Central Ohio. I want to thank Age Friendly Columbus, who's embraced this model in their planning, and I want to thank Katie White in particular, who was the first village director in Columbus and continues to share her experience along with the 3 current directors of the villages in Franklin County. And I want to thank Councilmember Stinziano and Columbus City Council and the Franklin County Office on Aging for their ongoing financial support of the local villages. This is what really adds to Columbus, Central Ohio being able to promote this model, I think in a much more vigorous way than any place else in the state. And now it is my honor to welcome President Pro Tem Michael Stinziano back to the podium.
Thank you, Cindy. And as promised, I was going to close us out. I was reminded by the solar eclipse. If you want to find a great way to get people out of their house, you just have to have a solar eclipse. As we drove around, everyone's looking up in the sky, some with glasses, some without. But it was truly a memorable experience. I want to thank the partners that spoke today, from COAAA to the mayor's office with Fran Ryan and her leadership of the Senior Roundtable, to the West Side Coalition. And I think, Reverend Meredith, you were underselling the Shalom Zone, really stepping up here and ongoing commitment. I know you have some board members, and really thank you all for not only just getting it, but really helping be a leader to make this Hilltop Village work. As Fran mentioned, takes a little time, but we know the West Side's ready, and we know, as you heard, a lot of good momentum is occurring, and this is a great first step. We've seen it be truly successful in other neighborhoods, and I stand ready, along with my colleagues, Council President Shannon Hardin, Council members Mitch Brown, Elizabeth Brown, Jiza Page, Emmanuel Remy, and Priscilla Tyson, to continue to support this initiative and others throughout the Hilltop. As always, feel free to give me a call if you have any questions, 614-645-8084, or email mstinziano@columbus.gov. I truly thank our partners here today. I look forward to continuing to work together, and thank you all and our seniors in the Hilltop for providing this opportunity for us to help work and serve you. Thank you all for being here, and that will be the end of the presentation. I think we're all available to answer any questions informally. Thank you all. Solar eclipse. I forgot about that.
Of course, everybody's.